They told us slavery ended. They told us we were free. But if we're free, why do our families still suffer? Why are our men still in chains? Why are our communities still being dismantled one by one generation at a time? The truth is, the system is never in our favor. The system never ended. It just evolved. From chattel enslavement to Jim Crow, from mass incarceration to welfare policies that tore families apart, this has always been about control. And just like the plantation preachers of old, religion has played a role in keeping us obedient while the system destroys us. Today we're exposing how the prison system is the new Jim Crow, how welfare policies were weaponized to keep black men out of the home, and how Christianity has been used to keep us submissive rather than rebellious against our oppression. So let's get into it. So let's start at the beginning. On the plantation, one of the most powerful ways to control our ancestors was to destroy the black family unit. Enslaved families were intentionally separated to prevent unity, resistance, and legacy building. Our black men were demonized as threats to justify their mistreatment and prevent them from protecting their families. Black women were forced into survival mode, often having their children stripped from them or being used as breeders for profit. And guess what? That same strategy has been applied generation after generation, just in different forms. So let's fast forward to the 20th century. The civil rights movement shook the system. Black people were demanding justice, power, and equality. The government had a choice: either grant true freedom or find another way to maintain control. So what did the system do? They gave us welfare, but with a catch. The welfare system was designed to help struggling families, but only if there was no man in the home. Black women were forced to choose between financial survival and keeping their families intact. The government incentivized single-parent households, ensuring that generations of black children grew up without a father. Now, mind you, this was not by accident. This was strategic. The same system that once sold our families apart now manipulated our mothers into keeping fathers out of the home. And all of it was backed by a morality script, telling women that struggling alone was better than having a man who couldn't provide properly. It was never about helping. It was all about maintaining power and control over black bodies. Well, if the welfare system wasn't enough to dismantle the black family, mass incarceration sealed the deal. Let's be clear, the prison system is not just about crime and keeping us safe. It's about control. It's about making sure that black men in particular remain in a permanent underclass caste system. So now I want you to read between the lines. The war on foreign substances was a war on black people. The same government that flooded our communities with these foreign substances turned around and criminalized us for them. Sentencing disparities ensured that black men got harsher sentences and punishments than their white counterparts for the same crimes. The 13th Amendment allowed slavery to continue under the guise of incarceration, It reads neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except a punishment for a crime. Private prisons profit off black bodies, and corporations use prisoners as unpaid labor. Beloved, open your eyes and see that the system remains intact. So what happened is they replaced the slave auction block with the courthouse. They replaced the plantation shack with the prison cell. And just like before, they justified it all with religion, telling us that if we just prayed and worked hard, we could escape a system that was never designed for us to win. Now let's talk about how Christianity has been used to keep us from fighting back. The message of obedience has never changed. Just as plantation preachers told us and told our ancestors before us to obey their masters, modern pastors preach compliance to a corrupt system. They also spread this oppressive ideology that other adults are to obey their leaders, aka their pastors. Even if they're in error, they should just leave it to God instead of holding these leaders, so-called leaders I should say, accountable. Now, forgiveness is weaponized in these spaces. Many are taught to forgive systematic oppression rather than fight against it. As I mentioned in another video, the prosperity gospel tells us to suffer now and be rewarded later, to pay tithes and offerings and support ministries, that they would be blessed in the after. But later never comes. In these churches, black men are demonized. Instead of being uplifted as leaders, they are shamed for their struggle, making it even harder for them to reclaim their power. These pastors tend to have more sway and influence over their female congregants than their husbands have in their marriages with their wives at home, causing issues in the home, all because, guess what? He's a man of God and he's supposed to be revered and respected. If these churches truly cared about black families, it would be speaking out against mass incarceration. It would be fighting the welfare policies that separate us. It would be standing against systematic racism. But guess what? Instead, too many churches remain silent because guess what? They benefit from keeping the people docile. But now that we know the truth, what do we do about it? How do we break free from a system that has been attacking us as a people for generations? Well, the answer is very simple and yet complex. We must deconstruct the lies we were taught about faith, family, and power. We must reclaim black masculinity and fatherhood. Black men must be allowed to lead and protect their families without being demonized. Stop relying on a system that was built to destroy us. Build black wealth, own land, real estate, and create our own economic systems. We must teach the next generation the truth so they don't fall into the same traps. Spirituality over religion. We must shift from submission-based faith to empowerment-based wisdom. Family, it's time to wake up. It's time to rebuild what was stolen. We don't have to keep falling for the same traps. We have the knowledge, the power, and the ancestors guiding us forward. We've been broken, but we are not defeated. We've been separated, but we can reunite. The system is against us, but we don't have to keep playing by their rules. The time for waking up is over. It's time to take action. I want you to like, comment, and share if you're ready to dismantle the system. I want you to subscribe for more truth because knowledge is power and power is ours to take. Drop a comment. Do you think the system was designed to destroy black families? And how do we fight back? I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, this has been Sam Copa Sessions Podcast with your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Israel. I love you all. And until next time, Peace be with thee.